are you all doing? Welcome to our Montessori Mondays with me, Holly. I am so excited to talk about today's topic, unconditional love for our children. So before I dive right in, because we're going to get a little bit deep today, I want everyone who's joining us live to go ahead and say hi in the comments. Let me know you're watching. And just give us a little wave so you are letting me know you can hear me and see me okay. And if you're on the replay, give me a hashtag replay so I know to come back to the comments in the future. Hi, Ashley. How are you? Thanks for joining us. So I am feeling a little bit, what's the word, frazzled today. I had, normally my husband does drop off for our kids, and I had to do it today. And it's always so rushed, right? Oh, I hate rushing around in the morning. It's the worst. So my daughter is just 4 years old, so she's my oldest. So we're just getting into these drop-offs. So I'm sure after a few years we'll be efficient at drop-off time. But today was a little bit messy. Okay. Again, if you're joining, say hi. I'm going to go ahead and get started today because, like I said, it's kind of a deep topic, but I want to make sure we're all here and can hear me. Ashley, yes, Mondays are the worst for sure. It's Tuesday morning here in Australia, so it's still technically our Monday because my husband has Sundays and Mondays off, so I get what you're saying there. Anyways, okay. So if you guys joined us last month, I believe it was, we had a Shifting into Montessori Mindset Part 1, and this is our Part 2. So we're kind of trying to think outside of our parenting box, right? We're going to be working on a little bit of a mindset shift today around the words unconditional and love, right? Hi there, it's Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa. Ashley says, I'm jealous. It's my dream place to live. Visit. Yes, yeah, it is wonderful. I live on somewhere called the Ningaloo Reef. And so there's just so much wildlife. I can't even downplay it. It is wonderful. Okay. So thanks for joining, Vanessa. Thanks for joining, Ashley. Now let me know, you guys, when you hear the phrase unconditional love, what comes to mind? What comes to mind first? Let me know in the comments, what does unconditional love mean to you? For me, unconditional love, I mean, before I really kind of got into all of this stuff, probably a few years ago, I would have told you that unconditional love means loving someone no matter what, or a love without end. I really never thought about it, right? And unconditional love just meant, like love that, so much love that I have to give it. But if you really think about it, what does it really mean? Love without condition, right? Unconditional love, love without condition. And when I hear it like that, for some reason, it sounds different. It relays a different message to me. I don't know about you guys. Let me know if it sounds different if you say unconditional love or love without condition. So now let me ask you this. What does love without condition mean to you? Does it seem different? Let me know. Ashley is saying loving someone despite their flaws with all your heart, the good and the bad. Yes, I agree. And Haley is saying loving someone no matter what they do, generally speaking, of course. Yes, exactly. So like I said, when I hear love without condition, it makes me think there are no strings attached to my love. There are no boundaries to my love. There's no reason out there that could interrupt my love. That's kind of the condition part of it, right? And I think it's important we talk about what unconditional love truly means. So because when we focus on truly loving our children without condition, we're giving them what they need to live to their highest potential. And that's kind of how I feel about Montessori, right? We're giving them what they need to live to their highest potential. And when we talk about our relationships with our children, when we talk about loving them or wanting the best for them and wanting them to be happy, and we talked about this last month, but a lot of us parents have these visions for our children, right? They aren't really aligned for the child's goals or visions. They're more like what we want for us, our parents. So the way I explained this last month in our first part of this, the shifting mindsets for the first part, was an example about wanting your child to be an Olympic swimmer, for example, right? This is kind of an extreme case, but the child would probably be subjected to conditioning, doing all these swimming lessons throughout their adolescence and getting them conditioned to be this Olympic swimmer. And all of this is probably much more for the parent's vision, right? Maybe the child's not even really that, gung-ho about it. But for instance, if you were a good athlete, maybe you're hoping your child would be one. Maybe not so extreme to the Olympic level, but what if they aren't? What if they aren't a good athlete? Are you going to push them to become better? If so, would you say that your love is conditional then? Would you be much happier or more loving if your child was a professional athlete? Would you feel more proud of your child gaining this title? So if that is true, your love would be conditional. Sure, you may not totally take your love away, but maybe you start to grow apart because it's not working out. Or maybe you become angry at their disinterest. This is obviously all probably, in our children's upcoming years, as we probably wouldn't think of this stuff quite yet at, 1 and 2 years old. But most of us Montessori parents aren't quite that extreme anyways. But this example shows you the context of conditional and unconditional love. If this does sound like you or someone you know, this message is especially for you. Now, let me know if that makes sense in the comments. I want to talk a little bit how this is relevant to us with toddler age children, because of course we all have little bubs at home, right? But do we love them without condition? Do we love them unconditionally, right? That's what we want to talk about today. And just because there isn't this, parenting manual that we all wish we would have gotten when we had kids, doesn't mean that we're going to know exactly what to do, right? A lot of people think that you can just start naturally parenting with your instincts. But unlike popular belief, parenting skills don't just come naturally to everyone. Us parents are on a journey, right? It's okay to accept what we have done in the past when we were just winging it, but it's time to move forward, okay? So grow and heal ourselves so that our children can grow too. Some ways that a love with condition can show up in parenting is through a term you are probably quite familiar with: discipline, right? So when a child is this young, you might think you need to give your child a timeout or yell at them to get your point across. This is quite common in traditional parenting philosophies. And even for those of us who have just tried to parent naturally with our instincts, when you do any of that, you're not loving unconditionally. In fact, you're doing the opposite, right? You're putting a condition on your love, right? If you throw your food off the table, then you have to go sit in your room by yourself, right? That's a condition. This is what your child is hearing now. Your child is starting to hear the words translated into, I'm not going to love you if you throw your food. I'm not going to love you if you hit someone. I'm not going to love you if you don't share. I'm not going to love you unless you do exactly as I ask. So this example, discipline and punishment, is often seen in these traditional parenting methods, as I mentioned earlier. But there are lots of parenting philosophies out there that follow the idea that punishment is not the answer, right? And obviously, I'm going to agree with that. And most Montessori parents are going to try to follow this as well. So what is the answer, right? Unconditional love. Right? That's what we're talking about today, unconditional love. Now, how do you truly give your child unconditional love when, they are hitting someone or they are throwing food off the table? Now that you have kind of discovered some of these holes in your unconditional love for your child, let's make sure you get those holes fixed up. And I'm going to give you this kind of 3-step process to get through these trying times, right? When you might want to use punishment or discipline. Instead, we're going to try to use these 3 steps to get us through to continue loving our child unconditionally. So let's think back to a recent battle or disagreement with your child. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but let me know your most recent battle that you can remember with your child. The last time I wanted to yell at my child was probably when he was writing markers on the couch, right? He had a marker, he's writing on the couch. He's a 20-month-old at the time. He was probably 21 months old to be exact, but that is probably the last time I can think of that he specifically did something that I felt like I needed to yell at him for or punish him for. So what was yours? Let me know in the comments. And I'm going to go over these 3 steps, and I'll use my example of my child drawing on the couch. Okay, someone's saying food thrown on the floor at lunch. Yes. Actually, that same 21-month-old that I'm talking about just threw his fork and hit his sister in the head. That was not great. Sorry about that, guys. I think my power just went out there. Hopefully you're still here with me live. That was weird. Okay. So let's go over these 3 steps, right? The first step is to understand what the root cause of the behavior is, right? Are they tired? Are they hungry? Are their needs being met? In my case, my child was not tired. My child wasn't hungry. And yes, their needs were being met. The second step of this 3-step process would be to find the emotion underneath the behavior. Are they sad? Are they scared? Are they anxious, right? Are they trying to get your attention in any way for an emotion that they have? In my case, I would say that my child was curious, right? He wasn't really trying to get my attention per se. He wasn't crying. He wasn't scared. I think he was just generally curious about what would happen if he used a marker on the couch, right? And the third step is to control your behavior, right? Your reaction to the behavior and investigate it a bit further. Now, this is a tool that is used in conscious parenting called a pause, right? A gentle pause. Hit pause. Think about what's happening. Leave the room if needed. Hold your boundary if needed, right? After hitting pause, instead of just yelling right off the bat, I was able to see that yes, his needs were met and that he was feeling curious as to what would happen if he used the marker on the couch. And he was not deliberately marking on the couch to get a rise out of me, right? This wasn't something done to get back at me for something, right? And this enabled me to stop from instinctively yelling at him and hold my boundary, right? My boundary is it is not okay to write on the couch. The markers are getting put away now. We can try them again tomorrow. We're going to clean this together, right? That is my boundary. I'm not going to let you write on the couch. It's never okay to write on the couch. We're putting the markers away and we're going to clean the mess. So the third step is often the hardest for us parents to adjust to. But when all 3 steps are done, you will start to see harmony with your child and you'll be free from punishment, right? Free from yelling and free from timeouts, free from all of it, which is obviously absolutely amazing to go through life without mom guilt, for instance, right? Because how do you feel after you yell at your child? You know, half the time I end up crying because I feel bad about it. So having that out of your life is amazing, right? Okay, let's see. Ashley is saying, let's see, my 18-month-old trying to hit one of the dogs with her hairbrush. Sorry, we do not condone animal abuse, obviously. Yes, exactly. And that would be where you need to hold your boundary. Haley is also saying hitting the dogs. Then when I tried to redirect, he started hitting and throwing things at me. 19 months. Yes. So this is all holding that boundary. Yes, Haley, same here. She sometimes slaps me in the face if she doesn't get what she wants. And this is something, especially sometimes it actually hurts. Yes, you know, if you need to physically hold them and say, I'm not going to let you hurt me, you can say things like that. That is holding your boundary instead of yelling or putting them in timeouts, because oftentimes that just makes things worse. And as I said earlier, that's not the message that they're hearing, right? You might be thinking, I'm going to give you time to cool down, But that's not what they're hearing. They're thinking, oh, they don't love me because they're setting me by myself. And, they aren't thinking, oh, I slapped mom, that's why I'm in here. They're thinking that you don't love them. So by truly loving your child unconditionally, you can start to follow their unique path in life, which you probably already know is one of the most important Montessori principles. And because, like we talked about last month with our mindset shift last month, the last thing we want is for our children to be leading a life that does not suit them, right? To be living a life for someone else's satisfaction. And following their unique path comparable to no one else's, including your own, will absolutely 100% allow your child to live to their highest potential. And that's something that we can all get behind, right? That's all something that we want. So let me know if you guys have any questions for me. And just thinking back to those moments and putting these 3 steps into play, the next moment that you have is where you start, right? It's not going to be a one night, one thing fix that makes everything better, but being consistent with stopping, using that pause to think about, are their needs being met? What emotion are they trying to convey? And what is the boundary that I need to hold? Or, what is my next move going to be? Because if you go from a place of that natural parenting instinct, you're going to end up, unleashing punishments, discipline, and then that leads to mom guilt and crying from probably both ends. And that's never a place that we want to be, right? That's always the worst feeling place. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. I have actually just put together an amazing, amazing resource, which I'm going to go ahead and add into the Facebook comments for you guys now. So if you'd like to sign up for our next big event, which is our 3 days connection versus correction live stream event. And it's going to be all about kind of designing a life with your child without power struggles, right? These are these moments in your life, like brushing your child's teeth, right? That's always a big power struggle for people. And it's something that you really have to again, hold that boundary and kind of work through with your child. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that and how you can continue to do these things every day with your child in all of these different instances, throwing food and all of this, using this 3-step process, as well as a couple other tools that I have for you guys. So hopefully you'll be able to join me. Get signed up for that in the comments that I just added there. In the comments, it's thistoddlerlife.com livestream-event. So let me know if you guys have any questions. If you're on the replay, I'll come back and answer questions as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your Monday or Tuesday morning, wherever you're joining from. I am going to sign off now. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.